everyone, Sarah the Catholic Homemaker here. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about my favorite real food books and cookbooks. If you're new here, please consider subscribing to my channel. I would love to continue growing our community. Also hit that thumbs up button if you like this video. It'll help more people find this video and my channel. And also hit the notification bell so you know when I post, which is every Monday at noon Eastern Time. First, the book I always have to recommend is Nutrition and Physical Degeneration by Dr. Weston A. Price. This book I read several years ago and it truly changed my life. I have a video where I talked about how exactly it changed my life, and I highly recommend reading this book because I don't see how anyone could possibly have a different perspective after reading this book based on Dr. Price's research. The pictures of indigenous people on there, just the proof is in their teeth and in their bone structure, their beautiful smiles, and their just overall demeanor and health, just how happy they seem to be. It truly changed my perspective on what healthy meant. It is very scientifically based, so it's not an easy read, but I still highly recommend reading it because it gives you a wonderful basis about what is truly healthy eating. Second book I'd recommend is Cure Tooth Decay. So if you've read Nutrition and Physical Degeneration, it kind of breaks down how you're supposed to eat in layman's terms, like based on Dr. Price's recommendations, and how exactly you can implement it in order to cure any sort of tooth decay. And of course, you can apply it to other health problems you may be experiencing, but this is specific to helping you cure tooth decay. Next, if you are thinking about having children or you do have children, this is a wonderful book, the Nourishing Traditions book of baby and child care by Sally Fallon-Morell and Thomas Cowan. And it's a very comprehensive book. It talks about preconception, during pregnancy, and postpartum, their recommendations. And it just not only about nutrition wise, but other childhood advice as well. This is another great book, Beautiful Babies by Kristen, Michaelis. I read this before I was ever pregnant, and it even gives some good recipe ideas in here. This is especially good for people who are new to real food, and it just kind of breaks down the meaning or the reasons why you would want to eat this way and the benefits of eating real food. I did gut and psychology syndrome, or the GAPS diet, several years ago now, and it really helped me heal from the inside out. So this is another great book. It's not an easy diet to do, I will say. Like, you really truly have to be committed to it, but it was worth it to me for the results that I got, because I really was having some severe health problems, and it helped to turn them around. The next one I love is The Untold Story of Milk. It's by Dr. Ron Schmid, and he talks about the history of raw milk in our country. The subtitle is The History, Politics, and Science of Nature's Perfect Food, Raw Milk from Pasture Fed Cows. I read it a while ago too, but it's a really great book to read about the history of raw milk, and it might change your perspective if you're kind of on the fence about whether or not to drink it. You may have heard of the benefits of drinking raw milk, but you may be scared about drinking it. I know there are some people out there like that. I was one of them, and I know reading that book helped me. This is one of my favorite real food books, The First 40 Days, and it's by Hung U. And she recently did a podcast on the Wise Traditions podcast with Hilda Labrada Gore. And I was totally geeking out about it because I'm so grateful that I had this book for both of my times postpartum, because I had my mom, my mother-in-law make the recipes, and myself as well, and they were just so nourishing. They just brought me back to life, because when you are postpartum, you lose a lot and you lose a lot of energy. So it's about rebuilding that energy, or chi as they call in Chinese medicine, and it's about resting and taking care of you and your baby. The first 40 days are really the most important things you can do. It's not about getting back into shape. It's not about like what our culture expects of us. It's really about resting, and that's what helps you really get back on your feet and heal, is to give yourself time. This one, I'm sure you all have heard of, is Nourishing Traditions. And I feel like I just have to recommend it, even if it's very obvious. But it's really great for beginners to the Weston A. Price diet, because Sally Fallon Morrell, she has like a whole encyclopedia of recipes in here, and it just covers every category, and it gives some of the reasoning behind it as well. This one's a more recent book from Sally Fallon Morrell. This is Nourishing Diets, and it's how paleo, ancestral, and traditional peoples really ate. It's not a cookbook, but I definitely appreciate the recipes at the end of the book. I've actually made a number of the recipes at the end, and I really love that it's heavily based on organ meats, because it kind of got me more comfortable with cooking with organ meats, just following her recipe. And there's even a bunch of blood recipes if you're able to source that. That was very, very difficult for me to source, but I was able to get it from my chicken farmer, and they graciously gave it to me for free. They weren't allowed to sell it to me, but they saved it and gave it to me, and I was able to try a few of these recipes in here. But Sally talks about the reason why they're so nourishing as well, and I definitely recommend trying it. This one is by Mark Sisson. It is The Primal Blueprint, Healthy Sauces, Dressings, and Toppings. And I really love this book because sometimes you can kind of get into a cooking rut. I know there are times where I'm just trying to make very simple meals, and sometimes I'm just like, I want my food to taste a little better. And so every once in a while I'll go back to this book and I'll look up some sauces to add, and it really helps to complete the recipe and make you enjoy your food so much better. It's really nourishing too, because some of these sauces in here are higher in fat, and you might be looking for that. You might be looking to add more fat in your diet and to take out carbohydrates. Finally, this is a newer book, and I got it last year after my youngest was born, Korean Paleo by Choi. It's a delicious cookbook, and I just kind of got on a Korean cooking kick last year, and for the longest time I've been wanting to learn how to make Korean recipes, especially because I just love Korean food so much. But when you go out to a restaurant for Korean food, in my experience, is very unhealthy because they're using unhealthy oils, probably using a bunch of sugar, maybe other additives in their food. And so I just wanted to control the ingredients. And so making the recipes from Jean's book just got me confident making those recipes. And I was like, hey, I don't necessarily need to go out to eat to enjoy Korean food or even other Asian food. It gave me more confidence to try to learn how to cook other Asian food as well. I hope you found this video to be helpful, and let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know if you have other books that I didn't talk about here that you really love to use as well. So until next time, bye, and may God bless you and your family.